Good day, everyone. My name's Ramesh, and I'm deeply humbled to be a candidate for the 2022 IEEE President-elect position. I would love to be there in person with all of you at Region 3 and at the Southeast Con meeting, but as we know, due to the pandemic, we have to do this virtually. I really hope that you and your loved ones are safe and healthy and can't wait to meet you in person very soon, and hopefully by the end of this year. So I want to thank Director Jill Gostin and Director-elect Theresa, as well as all of the volunteers who are on this call today, for the opportunity to share some thoughts with you on how we can work together to engineer the future and create an IEEE of the members, by the members, and for the members. And during the course of my conversation, I want to share with you why I'm running for IEEE President-elect and what I hope we can accomplish together in pursuit of that mission. So by way of a brief introduction, I started my journey in the IEEE almost 4 decades ago as a student member. And during that time, I transitioned from being a member to an engaged volunteer and had the opportunity to serve the IEEE in a variety of different roles. On the IEEE Board of Directors, as Vice President for Educational Activities, on many of the major boards, including the Awards Board, the Publications Board, at the Region, Section, Chapter, Student Branch level, and so forth. I've also served as the President of IEEE Eta Kappa Nu, which is our honor society for electrical engineering, and had the honor and privilege of representing IEEE on the ABET Board of Directors. Currently, I serve as the Director of the Engineering Delegation on the ABET Board, where I represent over 30 different member societies, including the IEEE on the Engineering Delegation. But you know, one of the things that I really cherish the most is the opportunity to work with volunteers like you and with members around the world to advance a mission, namely advancing technology for humanity. The values that I've learned from these experiences are the ones that cherish and sustain me to this day as a faculty member in the California State University system, where again I've been deeply humbled to serve as a dean and as a department chair on 2 different campuses. I'm a member of the Photonics and Education Societies and really appreciate all the opportunities that have come my way as a result of IEEE. So let's take a moment and talk about some of the challenges and opportunities before us. And frankly, none of this should come as a surprise to anyone. We need to talk about what IEEE means to our different constituents. If you're an industry member, an educator, a young professional, if you belong to an affinity group, if you're part of women in engineering, if you're a student, if you're an entrepreneur. Our structures continue to evolve and adapt to serve the needs of our members. This is very critical. Resources are vital. Even before the pandemic, we were dealing with the challenges from open access, and with the pandemic and with the onset of hybrid and virtual conferences, we need to be looking very carefully at our resources because publications, conferences, and standards are big sources of revenue for the IEEE. But perhaps the most important thing that we need to keep in mind is how do we remain relevant in these rapidly changing times and adapt to life in a post-COVID world. Now, one of the things that I did during the last few months is to host a number of virtual town halls across the IEEE so that I could hear firsthand from members on the things that they cared about. So here are some of the things that I've learned, and I want to share them with you. Our members look to the IEEE to keep them technically current. They're really looking for industry-relevant content, whether it's a workshop, it's a conference, or a journal. It needs to be something that they can use in their day-to-day jobs. They're looking for continuing education, namely tailored products, programs, webinars, and services that they can use to support their ongoing professional and career growth. IEEE is seen as a home by over 2/3 of our members who are in the process of changing jobs, which is every few years, as we know, in the current state of the industry. Women in engineering, young professionals, students, and entrepreneurs, they see diversity, they see inclusion as strengths of the IEEE, and they come to the IEEE as a result of that. So, given the information that I've gathered, here's what I propose to do if I'm elected as IEEE President-elect. My number 1 priority is to serve our members and deliver an exceptional experience. That, ladies and gentlemen, has 3 strategic elements: member engagement, volunteer engagement, industry engagement. So let's talk about member engagement for a second. Our past president, Toshio Fukuda, started the IEEE Academy. We have academies in the smart grid, AI, and Internet of Things. We need to continue that work. IEEE Learning Network that I'll mention to you in a minute. This is very important. Volunteer engagement. The IEEE is a very diverse technical organization with over 400,000 members around the world, but our volunteers serve as the heart and soul of our organization to serve these members. Our current president, Kathy Land, has emphasized strengthening diversity and inclusion and training volunteers and providing opportunities for new volunteers through volunteering platforms. This is a priority for me. And as you can guess, the things we do in IEEE are continuous, and it needs to be continuous in order to be sustained. So I will be working very closely with both the past leadership as well as the current leadership in order to advance the mission of our organization. Industry engagement is another strategic priority for me during my term as president-elect, if I'm honored enough to serve in that role. I believe that IEEE needs to become more relevant to address the needs of industry practitioners, and whether it's conferences, publications, standards, it really needs to meet the needs of our practitioners. Operationally, I'll work to empower you, the volunteers, in order to serve our members in collaboration, in close coordination with our outstanding staff, not only to lower the overhead costs, but also improve the value of membership. So how do we do this? In one word, ladies and gentlemen, I think collaboration is critical to our success. Let me share just a couple of examples with you. When I was Vice President for Educational Activities 5 years ago, I championed the IEEE Learning Network. Today, the IEEE Learning Network has over 1,000 courses with partnerships from 30 different societies, councils, and OUs in order to support our members and their ongoing professional and career needs. It came together to address a need, but more importantly, it came together because of the close coordination, collaboration that exists between volunteers, staff, and our members. Collaboration requires trust. Trust requires transparency and open communications. As far as I'm concerned, these values are non-negotiable. You think about Try Engineering, our summer institute, Try Engineering Together, mentoring new students, IEEE ADACAP and you, how we've transitioned to the virtual modalities to do inductions and have X Factor talks with some of the most brilliant minds in our legacy, whether it's Bob Metcalf or Marty Cooper, who invented the cell phone. All of these things are possible because of the ingenuity that our members have exhibited, the outstanding technical contributions that our members continue to develop, and the work that our volunteers and staff are doing to make a difference in the lives of our members. Looking ahead, we need to prepare for a new world in which hybrid and virtual conferences will be the norm. We need to prepare for a new world where open access publications will gradually become the norm, and IEEE is already taking steps through the outstanding work of our boards, our volunteers, and staff to make a difference here. So in a closing, what I'd like to share with you is we can do this by working together to engage our members, to engage our volunteers, to provide content that is relevant to industry, and above all, engineer the future, because this is really bigger than the future of engineering, by bringing an IEEE together of the members, by the members, and for the members. One of the things that I always reflect upon are the values that I've learned being in IEEE: to be inclusive, to be collaborative, to be accountable, to be resilient, and to be ethical. Or simply put, I care. I believe this is something that I've seen in all of the members and volunteers that I've worked with. But perhaps now there is no room for complacency. We need to race ahead, ladies and gentlemen, and flip those letters and say, I race. We need to be resilient, accountable, collaborative, and ethical. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Please visit my website, rameshsk.com, and contact me. Let me know what your thoughts and suggestions are and how we can work together to make a difference for our members. Thank you very much. I really enjoyed the opportunity and look forward to the discussions in the next few minutes.